So this is our management unit number 4, which was burned earlier in May. And what you're seeing right in this area here is what's burned. Essentially the duff has been removed. With the patch burn grazing and our sweet clover objective, here's what we're expecting to do is have the cows come out and keep this extremely short throughout the course of the growing season. And what we're counting on is that as this grass gets grazed, the cows keep it at that really fresh, lush, short green grass kind of status. Regardless of how it happens across the management project area, we're allowing more structural diversity across the area. And that's what we really need out here is the different stages of the grass, because there's no other options off site. It's either row crop or generally heavily grazed. All the birds and a lot of the wildlife need different stages of grass at different times of year. And it's important for people to know that and acknowledge that as hunters and outdoor enthusiasts, that tall grass in the winter isn't necessarily always your objective, that they need the short statured grass and the medium statured grass for insects and things. This particular unit is dominated with lead plant, echinacea, and hundreds of other forbs. This is really high quality prairie. But that being said, underneath all that high quality prairie is yellow and white sweet clover, which comes back in year 2 and is typically 6, 7, 8 feet tall. And that's all it is. It'd be 300 and some acres of yellow sweet clover. And that's the cycle we're trying to break. And so far we think we can do it. Essentially they're doing exactly what we thought they'd be doing. They're staying on the patch, haven't left the patch at all. And I would expect that to be pretty typical here all the way through early, late summer. And then they kind of start to wander a little bit. This burn patch is kind of their gravy right now. And they're really reaping the benefits of all this fresh, lush green grass. The exclosures will be kind of the demonstration sites as to see if we're actually meeting our objectives come year 2 or end of the summer, where we can see what has been chewed on, what hasn't been chewed on, if there's been some plants preferred or not preferred. And we talked a little bit about milkweed and how cattle generally prefer milkweed. We also know that other things prefer milkweed as well. And I think it'll be really interesting this year, because this is a pretty milkweed heavy patch or management unit, to try to put maybe a camera or something inside these exclosures to see what else is eating milkweed. It's easy to point the finger at the cows out here because they're big, everybody sees them, but there's also deer and insects and a lot of other things that I think are really eating on some of this vegetation that we'd like to see and figure out. From what we saw last year, milkweed gets chewed on and Canada milkvetch gets chewed on the patches and on the surrounding patches near the unit. But we also saw inside the exclosures the same plants getting clipped, and cows aren't that flexible to jump over 4-foot cattle exclosures. Maybe there's actually less of a cattle presence and more of an insect presence, and time will tell.